everybody. Welcome to episode 1 of Labyrinth, where we test it so you don't have to. I'm Humble.
And I'm RMB.
Today we're going to be testing two of the juggernauts of the format. I'm going to be playing red-blue.
And I'll be playing green, steel, Diablo.
And we're going to be trying to figure out how these lines work. Quick little caveat before we get into the games. While RMB is choosing to play basically a stock green steel list, I'm playing the deck I played in Chicago, which is a little bit different than a stock red-blue list. I'm opting to play 3 copies of McDuck Manor. And in Chicago, I played 2 copies of Dragonfire, but right now, like in this video, you'll see I'm only testing 1, because I've opted to go back up to the 3, how far I'll go. The theory behind Dragonfire is I wanted extra tools in the mirror match, just because I expected to play a lot of it. Spoiler alert, didn't play a single one, up until round 9. But McDuck Manor facilitates just me being able to play draw go, and still passively gain more. In the mirror match, the only card that can really deal with this is Maui, and it can't deal with it by itself. So it's going to require multiple turns of interaction on my opponent's part. And if I'm able to clear the Mauis and force them to continue to play Mauis, then I feel like I'm in a great position. So if they take these out, that's fine. But if they don't, this is eventually gets me to a point where only 1 Lucky Dime activation is needed to win the game. So I'm not looking for a lot here. Like, we have optimal turn 1 plays, but I'm keeping both. So a lot of people don't understand which one to do on turn 1 if you have both. Typically on my mulligan, I'll do this first if I don't have a 1 jump ahead. But if I do, like, I'm going to mulligan these 5 cards. Actually, I'm going to mulligan these 4 cards because I'm going to keep the brawl because I am going second. So I'm going to mulligan these 4 cards. And if I hit a 1 jump ahead, then we're playing Popsicle on 1. And if I do not hit a 1 jump ahead, we are playing Develop on turn 1. All right, looks like a Develop on turn 1.
So our opening hand has a lot of the pieces that we really want. Obviously, this is a line that you can take pretty frequently, and it's incredibly, incredibly powerful. We want this. I think we want to give ourselves like the greatest chance of like a really, really strong line with these 3. So I'm actually going to get rid of some of these inkable cards, which could potentially bite us, but I think that the possibility of this in this matchup just matters way too much not to try and go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is actually about as good as you could possibly hope for. I think with the triple redundancy, like, we may end up sending 1 to the Inkwell, but I think we have everything that we want.
I'm just gonna run my pockets with 3 Buckies.
I might be running your pockets with 3 Buckies.
Hell yeah. Got my deck.
All right, here we go. So I am starting us off. So I will be inking a Strength of a Raging Fire, and I
revealing the hand?
am going to play a Diablo.
So he gets a peek of what we're looking at. We don't have the 1 jump ahead, which is kind of unfortunate. We have essentially 2 draw steps to find it. If we can locate a Haram, we're feeling pretty good. Other than that, this hand is like kind of subpar. We got not a lot off our mulligan.
Yeah, just taking a look at the hand, it looks pretty weak. No 1 jump. Obviously, there's a be prepared there that we're going to need to consider. Looks pretty standard. And I will pass the turn back over to you, sir.
So we're going to hit the draw step. We're going to ink the Maleficent because it is way too far away. And we are going to fire off the Develop Your Brain because we are looking for the 1 jump ahead. We are going to take this because this will get ripped, and we want to be able to play as many of our sleepers as possible. That's the turn.
So we're going to draw for turn. That's a pretty good one. I think our plan is probably send this to the Inkwell and develop our first Bucky. With our first Bucky, I think we are just going to go ahead and quest with this Diablo for 1 and pass it back.
Okay, we are going to draw. So I have 2 of these. A lot of people don't have the misconception that these are playable in this matchup, and it is very false. All this does is put you down lower so the Bucky can rip your entire hand. The only time we play this card in this matchup is when we have her realm on board to actually draw cards. So I'm pretty comfortable inking this card. We do have a couple different things we can do. I think step one, we're going to fire one of these off again to look for something good. This is pretty decent. We don't have a lot of ramp, so I'm not really comfortable taking it. I think we're going to take this instead. And then because we kind of flooded with these, we're going to do that again.
Triple develop.
We finally found this, which is probably going to be the take because we're still far away from this. So I am going to take this card. The only punish is, I guess, an Ursula, like a 2-drop Ursula. But if he had a 2-drop Ursula, he would have played it last turn. So I think this is safe. So he's likely going to play shift lines, so we have the discard cards. Pass it.
So we will untap. We'll draw for turn. So this is a really cool position here. There's a couple things that we can do. Our opponent does have quite a healthy hand. We may be delaying one turn for this just to get full value. I think the line I'm going to choose here is to play a second Bucky. I think we're going to actually ink this, which kind of feels a little bit awkward, but I think we're going to ink Ursula. And there's nothing we really need to worry about on 3. He can't play a Maui or anything like that, so I think that this is probably a free 2 quest here. And say pass, and next turn is when we're going to go off.
Okay, we're going to draw a turn. So we saw him again. We are going to start with this every time. So we are going to popsicle to draw a card. I think because we're so far away from this, I'm kind of comfortable inking it. So the inks are this or this. I don't want to ink this just yet because it does hit the problematic cards, as in Ursula and Diablo. And if I can't make it to this, or he starts ripping my hand apart, then I still want some kind of out. So I think I'm going to ink the Tomato. Actually, no, I'm going to ink the Fishbone Quill. And then I am going to cast the 1 jump ahead. Take it.
All right, so we will ready. Draw for turn. Okay. So that's actually a pretty good draw. That allows us to still be able to ink this turn. So we will play a 3rd Bucky. We are going to shift Diablo, pitching a Let the Storm Rage on, and we'll get 3 triggers.
Yeah. So I'm going to be discarding these 3 cards.
So Dragonfire, develop.
Tomato.
4th develop?
It is indeed.
4 develops. Going into Maui turn, so I don't know that I want to just let my Buckies perish. There's a pretty good chance that this is actually going to eat a brawl here, but we are going to quest for 1. We'll get to draw a card for turn. I think we're just going to ink this. It's just not really relevant in this matchup. And we're going to say go.
Okay, we're going to draw for turn. He's going to get his Diablo trigger.
Diablo, let's do draw.
So we are starting with a brawl.
Yep.
We are then going to fire off another popsicle to get an additional card. He's got 3 Buckies, so the hand is not safe. We are playing off the top. So the plan is to ink as much as we possibly can. That way our subsequent board wipes are live. And I think we start by inking this. McDuck Manor and pass the turn.
So we are hoping for a good draw here. We really need something spicy. And that is probably about as spicy as it's going to get. We'll ink the Ursula and play a Beast with triple Bucky activations. No cards left in hand.
0, held it.
So we are going to send in the Squirrel Army for 3, go to 7, and pass to you.
Okay, we're in a pretty bad position here. We are going to draw. That is probably the best draw in the deck at this point.
Yep, that one's a pretty good one.
Draw. Play Ice Block and pass the turn.
So We'll untap. We'll trigger the beast, and we will draw for turn. 2 pretty decent cards. So our opponent has 1 card in hand. He's got 5 in the inkwell. I don't think we necessarily need this right now. We're going to play a Diablo. Discard that last card from your hand.
It's another ice block.
Another ice block. So I think here's the point where we start to just turn dude sideways every single turn. I'm going to quest for 5 because it's a lot. He's going to want to, quest with the Flaversham, eat the popsicle, try to find another Be Prepared to take out this board. So I think trying to end this game as fast as possible is going to be really important for us.
Yep, draw. That is a decent draw. Do kind of have a couple things we need to consider here. We can start taking out the Buckies, which probably isn't great because we need to refill our hand. But having 3 Buckies on the board means all of his Floodborns have 3 Sudden Chill stapled to them, and I don't know how I feel about that. Additionally, we could fire this off, but this meaning giving us cards is pretty good. We are actually going to start with how far I'll go, just so it gets us the ramp we want. And then we are going to quest, get rid of Popsicle to draw 2 cards. Those are all very good ones. And hopefully he doesn't draw a Floodborn to make us discard them. If he does, we probably have to concede. And then go ahead.
All right, so all we need is a single Floodborn, and everything that our opponent has done in the last turn is for naught. So we'll Beast Trigger, draw for turn. Interesting. May have been all for naught. I don't think that this card's doing anything for us right now. There's a chance that this is like I have to assume that our opponent probably has a Be Prepared that they drawn. They drew what total of 4 cards last turn between How Far I'll Go and a Flaversham activation.
3 cards. Yeah, 4 cards.
I don't know that this is doing anything for us right now. I think we can kind of go with some RNG here. So I'm actually going to exert 5, and I'm going to play We Don't Talk About Bruno on Haram Flaversham. So
if this is anything like Chicago was, it'll hit the Haram flavor channel every single time.
All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 will be rerolls.
Sure.
5's a reroll.
6.
2.
It's a Sisu.
It is a Sisu, okay. This does also kind of like stop him from being able to just draw cards for free on his turn. And we are going to quest everything. So that is 1,
6.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
17.
Go to 17, and we will. I don't think we're forced to ink. We'll just hold it.
Okay, draw.
Trigger Diablo, draw a card.
Yep. I'm going to ink Grammatala and cast the Be Prepared.
Yep, that is pretty good. It's really, really bad.
So this is the position of the game where the red-blue kind of starts taking over. The issue with green steel is at any point in time, if they get board wiped or they get behind, they just kind of can't really regain momentum. So that's, as the red-blue player, that's kind of what we're looking for on past turn. So them dodging a Floodborn last turn was very good for us.
Draw. We're going to play an Ursula, and we're going to send it back to you.
Okay, so
definitely didn't want to draw this.
We did draw pretty well. The card we have in our hand answers the card on the board pretty well, but we are going to use Ice Block, target the Ursula. We're going to cast the Flaversham. And we are going to brawl the Ursula.
Sure.
Pass turn. So now we're in a position where we're just controlling his board on every turn of the game until we have the inevitability to win.
Yeah, we need to hope for some heaters here. I think we're getting to a point where the amount of resources in our opponent's hand are likely a little bit too high. We kind of just have to play the cards as they're dealt. How many cards do you have in hand?
3.
So, like, this card's not great, but I think I would rather it eat like a Medusa than if I were to top deck either a Beast or a Robin Hood. So we are just going to play the Flynn.
Anything else?
And we are going to pass.
Okay, I'm gonna draw. That's a pretty good draw. We are gonna start with the ice block. Use the ice block and quest with the flavor shim. We're going to ink this Maui and Medusa the Flame and pass.
All right, so if we don't draw like an absolute heater here and it lives, this game's probably over. Well, it's not looking good for the hometown hero here.
Hero, whatever. You're playing Bucky's. You are the villain in this arc.
You are playing Medusas and
I'm trying to play good, clean Lorcana.
Well, let's take a peek. What you got going on? What you got in that bag?
Heat.
That is, in fact, heat. So Medusa, Sisu, Fishbone Quill.
Correct.
Well, I think we're going to deal 2 here to draw a card. That is not the card. And we are going to pass.
Draw. Let's count the ink. I'm pretty sure we have 8, but yeah, we have 8. I'm not sure how relevant drawing cards for us is right now because we have kind of all the things we need. Bearing him in card advantage right now, I don't think is worth leaving him the ability to start questing.
I am at 17. I only need 3.
Yeah, ideally we would. I would want to play this, but I also I need to start getting some lore. So we are going to cast the Sisu, quest for 2. This is no longer super relevant, so we are going to ink the Maui and just pass the turn.
All right. Man, I think this is like one of those situations where like I would love a cove off the top here. And that is not a cove. So I am just going to ink this strength. We're just never going to have a relevant board.
No, I'm killing everything you play, so.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the second Medusa exists, so like I don't love our position here. I guess we just have to play into it. We play our Aladdin and pass it back to you.
Yep. This is a very good position for us at this point.
When you say us, do you mean like us or you mean you?
I mean me and the viewers who are on my side.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You are the enemy. Do not forget that.
I'm gonna turn these over here.
No, dude, they're right here.
Oh, okay.
We in there, dog. I am gonna cast this Fishbone Quill. I am gonna quest for 1 to draw 2 extra cards because
Yeah, that's a fair card, you know. By the way.
Yeah, I don't know who okayed this card to make it a 1/6, but decent. We're gonna quest for 4, go to 9. We do have to kill the Aladdin, which kind of sucks, but I think our hand is good enough that it's not gonna super matter. Like if he plays 3 things next turn, then like we're in trouble. But
we have 1 card in hand. How are we playing 3 things?
That's what I'm saying. Like if he plays 3 things, we're in trouble. But he doesn't have the ability to. So.
All right, miracle off the top.
Heart of the cards, guide me.
Oh, all right. I think we just have to fire this off.
It's always
on
the
Sisu.
Yes, yes. It's always gonna hit the card.
I hope it does. To be perfectly honest, it's a 3-quester.
I hope it doesn't. That way I can. I have kill spells.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4.
Haha.
Oh no!
You've been had.
And we will pass it back to you.
Draw. So we drew a pretty good card for turn. It's not going to be
nice.
hyper relevant right now because we are just going to slam this Tamatoa. We're going to get back the Popsicle. And then we're going to play the Popsicle because this card is very fair. Draw a card. Quest for 1 to draw 2 more cards. And then we're going to quest for another 2. Go to 12. Then pass the turn.
I don't know that there's a single card that we can draw that ever pulls us out of this.
There is not, because spoiler alert, I have 2 dragons in my hand.
Well, I will raise your dragon with 1 sad beast.
Well, he's going to be
concede the game.
Yeah, he's going to be really sad when I play this huge dragon. So in the event of dragons versus squirrels, dragons always win. Name a deck that can out triple Bucky. I'll wait. Oh yeah, it's this one.
Yeah, I like so the issue that I have with the Bucky deck is while it's very powerful at removing your opponent's hand, it doesn't win the game fast enough.
No.
So like it kind of dirtles around for several turns and like gives your opponent the opportunity to top deck a Be Prepared. Once you get Be Prepared, it feels almost unwinnable.
Yeah.
It feels like you can't come back from it because of the single target removal that Red Blue has.
My issue with the green steel deck, or any of the green decks for that matter, simply because you have to stay in the lead. So like once you're in the lead, if you can maintain advantage of the game, the entire game, you win. If you ever get behind, there's no coming back. Once you're in those positions where after I've Be Prepared or after the red deck has C-suit or Be Prepped or wiped your board in any significant way, there is no rebuilding. Like it's very difficult to get to a position after the wipe where you can easily win the game. He was at 17 by like turn 8, and then he was at 17 for the next 9 turns. He just was never
17
able.
by like turn 7 and then just never
Yeah,
never
he just
gained
was
another
never
lore.
was never able to put anything on the board long enough that it could turn sideways to quest.
Easiest 2-0 for Red Blue? Question mark.
It feels like that, especially when we open hands like this. So we have pretty much the entirety of the early game that we want to see. We have these cards that we can keep, like the redundancy, because like obviously this is guaranteed ink, and a deck with 22 inkables is pretty good. So we're probably going to keep this. I don't think we need these. We're not really mulliganing for a lot because we already have our 1 and a 2 and a 4. So I'm kind of interested to keep this just for these two for guaranteed ink. This is always something we can play if our inkables off the top are relevant. So I'm going to throw this card back. I only mulligan 1 card.
Only 1? Your hand's that good?
My hand is cracked, actually.
I think I'm only keeping 1.
Oh, that's just green steel things.
So like our hand's like really, really bad. So like these are not cards that we want in our opener, like basically ever, unless we can, do the thing. I don't like having to like split between both of these. I want some more early game here too. Like this isn't, I don't want to keep these in my opener unless I'm on the play and have like a clear line to be able to play these. I want to give ourselves the biggest opportunity to find a Bucky. So I think like there's some consideration for just pitching this and just giving ourselves like fixed looks at a Bucky. There's also some consideration for keeping it because I do think the card's very, very good in this matchup. It doesn't die to Brawl, and it also kind of like stops a little bit of their game plan. It might be too slow on the draw, so I think I actually am going to pitch it back. And
let me see if my
ship
card game Rolodex is working. Were you talking about this Silver Aladdin?
I was.
Oh man, I'm so
1,
smart and hot with him.
2, 3.
Also, big shout outs to Cregan behind the camera, being the man behind the men.
6. So this is a pretty poor hand. This is the other issue that I have with the green steel deck is that sometimes like the hand just is not good. Like
yeah, it's like it gives me like set 1 Steel Song vibes where like sometimes you just lose to yourself. Like the deck is very good at doing the thing, but sometimes the deck is also just very good at
not doing the thing.
Yeah, just because you need so many moving pieces, right? If you have the
you just need Bucky. That's all you need is Bucky. If the games where you draw Bucky go very, very well in your favor, and the games where you don't draw Bucky are not.
So I kind of have it all because I'm like the best duelist in Duelist Kingdom. So I'm going to be inking this dragon and playing this popsicle. And pass it over to you.
So that's a pretty decent draw. We don't have anything that we can shift it with, but
that's great to hear.
I think that this card's probably just too slow in this matchup and not really the card we want to be playing. So we're actually going to ink Tinkerbell, and we're going to take a peek at our opponent's hand because they said it was really, really good.
Our opponent is about to cry a little bit because we kind of have it all.
So Brawl, 1 jump, Flaversham. So he's going Popsicle, 1 jump, Flaversham, which is like not great for us.
For sure.
The rest of the hand, like I'm not really like that worried about. Like,
yeah, I'm not worried about these cards. I'm worried about these cards.
Yeah, like it's a good hand, but like, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Draw for turn. That was amazing. He saw our hand. Like, we're still not getting to this in any reasonable time. It feels bad to have to ink 2 of them. But I think this card's going to be more relevant overall to our game plan. So we are just going to ink the Maleficent Dragon, and we're going to go ahead and be 1 jump ahead. And pass the turn.
So we have a really crucial draw step here. There's 1 card that we can draw right now that would be absolutely absurd. See? And that is actually the card that we wanted to see. So this is kind of one of those situations where, like, I think being able to look at your opponent's hand is just really, really powerful. So what we're going to do here is we are going to ink a Robin Hood. We are going to shift Diablo, pitching We Don't Talk About Bruno.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to cast Hidden Cove and move Diablo to Hidden Cove to protect it from the brawl.
Sure.
And quest for 1.
Yep.
And pass to our opponent.
Draw a card.
Trigger Diablo, draw.
We're pretty safe to ink this develop, I believe. We could be looking for a Maui of some kind, because like Maui can one-shot the Hidden Cove. But we're also kind of not close to casting it. So I think we're just going to ink... We're going to ink this Fishbone Quill. This is going to give the opponent cards, but to be honest, I'm not sure I care. Especially when those are the cards we're drawing. Pass turn. You didn't see anything.
Nah, I saw something.
No, you didn't.
I seen it.
That was a dexterity error. You saw nothing.
Let's see. What's our draw? We don't need any more of those right now. Okay. So like, there's consideration for playing this here, but I think like the issue is that we want to leverage the Cove as much as possible right now. So I think we're going to start with an Ursula and take a peek at our opponent's hand again.
And I'll spoiler alert: no gods.
No gods. What are we dealing with though? Brawl, Sisu, double Tommies, Popsicle, which I think is probably fine.
Yeah, I mean, like if this whatever happens, like we get to draw a bunch of cards next turn, unless I can top deck the Maui.
We're gonna ink this Ursula, and we'll move this Ursula to the Cove as well.
Okay.
And then we will quest for Juan.
Sure.
And say go.
I'll draw a card. So this is interesting. I do like this because I do kind of want to get to all my cards.
Supposed to draw cards.
Yeah, you're lucky this wasn't.
We're drawing cards here.
I'm going to start with a Develop Your Brain just to see what's on top. That's a good one. I like that.
Put it into your hand.
I think I'm comfortable inking one of these Tommies because we have so many. Now here's the thing. I could let my opponent draw an additional 3 cards. I do not want to do that.
Come on, what do you mean? I only have 6 in hand.
What I can do is ramp myself even further, right? So next turn, we're pretty safe to do this plus this and draw a billion cards. So this turn, I am just going to go ahead and fire off this Brawl on the Ursula since I can't Brawl the Hidden Cove, and I'm going to sing 1 jump ahead. And it's your turn.
That is, in fact, a lot. A lot of ink. Well, these are not the cards you are looking for. So I guess we're going to have to get this down. I still think we're probably inking this. It's like okay. Maybe it's this. It could also just be this.
It is crazy how very fair your deck is without Bucky.
Yeah.
It is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Mid without Bucky.
Yeah, this deck doesn't function without Bucky. Like, the whole purpose of this deck is to like put you on low resources and just kind of like grind last few turns of the game.
You did that last game too, and like it didn't work very well.
We will ink a Tinkerbell. And I guess we're gonna play Ursula plus move to Cove.
Sure.
And quest for 1. We've gotten there for 3.
Yeah, dog. Okay, I'm going to draw a card for my turn. Would
No, the Diablo.
Yeah, do the Diablo thing. Now, see, drawing this is interesting. But I think I'm going to hold... How many cards are you in hand?
I don't know, like 6 or 7.
Yeah, so I'm going to hold
6.
this. I am going to start with this Dragonfire.
Target.
That one.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes, because I have this. Draw a card. Quest for 1, draw 2 more cards.
Yeah, I don't love my position.
Because this card, chat, is fair.
Chat? Is this Twitch?
Yeah, it is now. This is whatever I say.
YouTube chat.
Yeah. Judge permission to refer to the jury as chat. We have the ink here. I don't think I want to ink one of these, just because like I want to have them in hand because they're kind of the late game. I'm not seeing much progress with this right now. Like this is not the matchup it's here for. It does do work in this matchup, but only after one of these 2 cards resolves. So I think we are good to ink it just because we need to see the ink. And it's your turn.
All right. Not liking my position one bit right now. Our draw for turn is pretty mid. I think we're just going to need to like fire off some draw since we're not allowed to draw cards anymore with Diablo. So I believe we're going to use Ursula to sing Let the Storm Rage On, draw a card.
I'm assuming you're targeting this twice?
Yes, and then I will target it twice. This will go to the bottom.
You can also target this with your
No,
Let It Go.
I think I just want to put more damage on that.
It's got us like 6 willpower though.
Man, with the amount of cards that we have drawn this game and the amount of them not being exactly Bucky is pretty disappointing. Our hand's like not good.
Love to see it.
I guess we're going to play an Aladdin, move the Aladdin to Cove. This is going to make our play pretty telegraphed here, but I am going to ink a Robin Hood. Actually, no. I'm going to ink a baby Robin Hood and just say go.
Draw.
I was considering like playing the goon there, but what does that actually do for me? Like nothing, right?
So let's see. So I have a couple options. I can turn this sideways to do this, which is neat. I don't know how relevant that is. I think it's more relevant to get this down. That way I can start recycling because, you know, what are they going to do?
Lose?
Yeah, so I'm going to ink this McDuck Manor. And I'm going to play the Tomato, get back a Popsicle.
Yeah, that's pretty bad for me.
And then I'm just going to pass the turn. Because we have a lot of redundancy, especially within, like just between these two. Like we don't have to fire this off. We can now fire it. This becomes live because we can kill the location.
I guess we'll draw for turn. That card's not doing anything right now. How many do you have in hand?
I have 5.
That's too many. I guess like we're just getting this down. That Tommy is pretty scary.
He is a big boy. He's very shiny and he is large.
These are just so dead here. They're just not good. Like without Bucky, this card's just bad.
My Rolodex is working. Is it a Flynn Rider? Am I intelligent and smart and hot and thin?
No, but you are correct that it is Flynn Rider.
Oh, well, that's rude.
I guess we're gonna ink one of these redundant 5-drops we have in hand. We're gonna play Beast and move him to the Cove.
It's pretty good.
It's not that great. I don't even know that we can like realistically warrant turning anything sideways at this point, which feels pretty bad. Yeah, I think we actually just have to pass here and just like hope to not get God Arena.
So we did have some lines. Drawing this is very, very good for us because now it means we don't have to do this. We are still going to start with one of these to draw a card. That's a banger. Going to quest
For 2?
For 2. Get back another Popsicle. Play a Popsicle. Draw another card. And then we're going to quest for 1. Pop a Popsicle to draw 2 more cards.
The amount of cards you're drawing right now is unfair.
It would be not as good if you had a Diablo on the board, but you don't. So I'm going to continue drawing cards. I'm kind of offering this up to the gods here because he can kill it with this Aladdin. So it's possible that this is correct, but I don't think so. I think we want to like punish his resources and his poor draw. So we are just going to play Medusa to kill the beast.
She is at hidden.
So we are just going. Okay, we can't do that.
Yeah, he is a 4/6.
That is actually fine, unfortunately. So we are going to play Maui.
Okay.
Kill your hidden cove.
Cove has been dispatched.
And then I don't know if I want. Could pop this popsicle to take 2 damage, because you'd have to send 2 things into it, which I think is fine because we have this Tamatoa to buy it back. So we are going to heal the Haram. He's going to draw 2 cards, but we are so stacked on resources that I'm not entirely sure that it completely matters. And if he has some outs to any of this, we always have our hard resets that we can draw into. Good.
All right, well, we do get to draw 2 here, which is like we need something with some heat here.
Hidden Cove is annoying.
Those are in fact not the heat I was looking for. You have like what, 1 million in hand?
1.6, yeah.
Okay.
It's 8. That is a lot.
Is it 8?
It is exactly 8 cards.
That's ridiculous.
Wow, too bad you don't have a Bucky, nerd.
I don't have a Bucky. I'm gonna make you discard 2 of them now.
Sure. I don't need that anymore. And I don't need that anymore.
Okay.
Damn, I only have 6 cards.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah, just do that 3 more times.
I think we have to do this. We're going to Bruno the Tamatoa. I can't let that just like exist. Oh,
1,
you
2,
had to
3,
do this
4,
all
5.
weird.
Well, I don't have room, man. You're the one casting Bruno.
Okay, we're gonna set this one over to the side here. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then
Whatever, yeah. We'll figure it out.
no, that doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
We're gonna roll 2 dice.
Oh, wow. We're really letting fate decide here.
Yeah, we're gonna roll
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
This still isn't considered then.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is 1, this is 12, everything else is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
I'm smart.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That card. Man, these rolls have not been fortuitous for us.
Look at him using his SAT words.
I don't like any of it. Like, I guess I want to see. I want to see how bad it is. I want to see how bad it is. Okay, we're just not winning the game.
Yeah, you're a walking corpse, my dude. My hand has been very good the entirety of this game. You not having Bucky has really thrown a wrench in your game plan.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way that I can win the game here.
You also not killing this was probably not great for you. I mean, like, I can wipe the board, which is like whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like force you to wipe the board, so I'm gonna quest for 1, and I'm gonna play a Robin Hood.
Okay.
And like make you wipe the board.
Sure. I'll draw for turn. Well,
Wow.
sure. I mean, the draw for turn was pretty good.
How far I'll go?
That's another one of those.
Oh.
I wrote this wipe the board. Debating on ink. I don't think I need to. I'm at 8. I would like to go to 9, but I want to keep both these in my hand for redundancy factor. Because you can't beat 1, you can't beat 2.
Surely this deck has Buckies in it.
I don't know, man. I think you're past the point of Bucky.
Surely
being
this
good.
deck has Buckies in it. That's not a Bucky. I think we're gonna play one of these.
That's a pretty good one.
And say go.
I mean, he's not doing a lot because of my hand. I mean, that's kind of funny.
Did you draw 3rd Be Prepared?
Sure did.
Well,
I think I'm safe to fire one of these off now. I think it's ink 1, play 1. But I still have more in the deck that I could draw into. And I do want to kind of start cycling through cards. Like, this is kind of an embarrassment of riches. Like, I could always just do this to kill this thing and like put a dude on board, and if he has a Zeus, it's fine. I think that's fine. I think I'm just gonna play the Sisu. Well, it's your turn.
That's pretty disappointing. We are going to draw for turn. Yeah, we're just like in like a terrible position here. Like, we know the makeup of his hand, so like nothing we ever play is ever gonna live, and it's kind of just death by 1,000 cuts at this point.
Yeah, I definitely have the inevitability, especially without you having the relevant ways to discard the threats in my hand and be able to like, draw cards and keep them. You're playing 1 or 2 things a turn, and they're both dying. So this deck does have the inevitability. Goes back to what we were saying earlier of like, get ahead, stay ahead, and if you ever get behind, like green steel loses.
Yeah, I think I just would like to concede the game here.
So there you have it, folks. You see how this matchup plays out when the 2 Titans go at it. Obviously, not exactly the best of draws on the side of RMB, and I got pretty fortunate. Game 1 was kind of in your favor until it wasn't.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I understand that this deck is very, very powerful. I understand that it has the potential to do this very powerful thing, but much like the set 1 Amber Steel, the deck just kind of like loses to itself sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think that I would ever sleeve this for like any real event. Personally,
I think you could save it for an event, but you kind of have to be running hot that weekend.
Yeah,
like
so
I said, you personally, yeah.
I cannot sleeve this deck for any weekend. It's also like not really my play style. I can understand why it would be some people's play style, but
yeah, because like, if you get ahead, like Flynn Rider into like being able to discard your opponent's hands with Bucky, like it does represent powerful things. And getting ahead on board, and if you can keep that lead and stay ahead, then the deck is arguably one of the best decks that you could play. But then you run into these situations where you play against decks that can wipe your board, that can interact with what you're doing, and then you have these instances where you fall behind, and you're playing a deck that inherently can't catch back up. And that's something that I personally like, which is why I'm playing red blue. Like I have reset buttons. I like that. Like I like being able to be behind for the entirety of the game until miraculously I say you can no longer have fun, and I get to win the game. Obviously, I'm not winning the game fast by any means, but having that resiliency and having that just inherent inevitability is something that like I as a player really enjoy.
I think I like underestimated the amount of cards that deck draws.
Yeah,
it draws so many cards.
Yeah, I mean, like so both the decks that we like, we just showcased. Obviously, the green steel more than the red blue, but the green steel does have draws where
it's conditional.
Yeah,
it's conditional on like either my guy being sideways or like my guy living a turn, which doesn't happen against red decks.
Not necessarily draw, right? Like I'm more talking about our engines being existent versus non-existent. Like the games where I don't see Haram or items play out drastically different than the games that I do.
Same with Bucky's.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I have more dig than the green steel deck does,
yeah.
But so like I'm able to find those pieces more consistently than the green steel opponent can. But you've seen the games when you have Bucky's 1 and 2 or 3 or however many Bucky's versus the games you just do not see Bucky at all, and it is a night and day difference between how the deck is piloted, how the deck is played, and how the deck performs. Just those things. Like if I were going to Texas, which hopefully we get off the wait list. Well, you're not. You're not.
I am going to Texas, and I can tell you right now, I won't be playing this deck.
Yeah, if I were going to Texas, I would probably play this version and the exact iteration. It's 1 card different than what I top 64 in Chicago with.
The biggest takeaway today is that I know a lot of people have said that like Diablo's the scariest thing that you could do in the format. It's ban Bucky. Just play red and blue cards. Like just play a bunch of board wipes and a bunch of draw and a bunch of ramp, and like who cares? Like let your opponent dirtle after you B-prep them.
The only game that felt not even close, it just felt annoying, was when you had Hidden Cove. And like I didn't have an ice block.
Yeah, that card's neat against non-Maui decks.
Yeah, which ironically, if you had a Hidden Cove and I had an ice block, it wouldn't matter. Because it just ice block your dude and like get to do my plays as normal.
Yeah, it just undoes ice block.
Yeah, it just forces your opponent to have 1 extra piece of interaction in order to deal with your board state, which sometimes it gets you there. So like I can understand why that card exists in the deck, especially like if you're expecting majority mirrors, then that card comes in real clutch. But I'm playing red, and Dragonfire just doesn't care about your pluses.
Well, we hope you guys liked the video. Like, share, follow, subscribe, all of those things. Tell us in the comments what decks do you guys want to see in the next video? What two Titans do you want to see go against each other?
There's a very good chance that whatever you decide you want us to play, we're still just going to play Mufasa and Blue Steel.
It's possible, but thanks so much for sticking around for the video. We love you guys. Hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful day. Hope you guys learned something. I know I did. I learned that I'm not going to play playing Green Steel ever again.
And I learned I'm really good against Green Steel. Obviously, shout out to Labyrinth TCG. Please join the Discord where all the paid members get one free coaching session a month, and you can redeem that with me. You can redeem that with him or any one of the other lab boys.